welcome back to another episode of Soulful Sundays with Madge. If you are new to this channel, my name is Madge. I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, coming back week to week, joining me on this journey as we rediscover our true life's purpose and work towards leading a happier and healthier life each day. As always, if you like what you receive, please feel free to hit the like button. Leave a comment below. You can ring the bell to subscribe to the channel. This way, every week when I upload, you will receive a notification. And as always, if you have questions regarding this episode or a past episode or just anything in general, you can always email me at askmadge18@gmail.com. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this week. So we are going to be talking about the power of belief. So, I don't know if you've ever had situations or events in your life where you were believing in something to happen, something that was going to happen in your life. You really wanted something, there was a goal that you were aspiring for, you had a vision, some sort of revelation, and you really were believing in something manifesting in your life, and all of a sudden something comes up or some things come up and you think, okay, what is this coming up? If it's not one thing, it's another. Things like this always happen to me. Every time I get started and I believe that something is gonna happen, something good is gonna happen in my life, something comes up and it just literally prevents me from moving to the next level or moving forward in what I'm believing in, that's gonna take me to the next level. So something sort of kind of like this came up with me this week. And when I say sort of kinda, I'll get back to why I'm saying it kind of happened, but it didn't happen. But beyond that, when it kind of happened to me this week, I was thinking back to my past life experiences and the shift that I had to take in that present moment to flip my mindset to think a different thought. But I was thinking about the past and I was like, wow, I wonder how many opportunities or how many possibilities, how many moments in my life I could have been led in a different direction or been led on a journey that was always a part of my destiny, that was going to benefit me, that was going to help me flourish. But when I was starting down the path, something may have came up and I may have counted myself out, and I may have taken the apparent obstacle and mentally checked out and believed that it came up to come against me. It came up to prevent me from moving forward. So maybe I should just count myself out. Maybe I should just give up on that belief, because if it's not one thing, it's another. Or things like this always happens to me. Every time I take a step forward, I take 2 steps back, right? So I feel like most of this year is an ongoing process of me truly focusing on what I am believing in, what the story is that I'm telling myself in my mind. What story am I speaking to myself? Because what I've come to realize is that the storyteller in our mind is going to mold our belief system. It's going to mold what we believe we're capable of. It's going to mold what we believe the possibilities are in our lives. So it's very important to evaluate, what is your storyteller in your mind telling you? So because I'm working on so much this year, I always have to take mental like I have to kind of take like a check-in mentally. And sometimes I have to say, what was that thought? Why are you thinking that? What is my storyteller telling me on the inside? So I'm working towards something. I'm always working towards something. It's just kind of something that I'm doing now, a way of life for me, and I hope that it will become a way of life for you if it hasn't already been something that you are doing in your journey. But one of the things that I'm working on, something came up in the process. And when it came up in the process, I initially noticed I had a thought. And the thought was like, it was like a defeat. Like I just kind of was like, I felt like, oh gosh, like, what does this mean? Does this mean that I was believing in something that was a false narrative? I was believing in something that is not meant for me. And what I noticed was, when I thought about what came up in that light of it being false, the story that I was telling myself and believing that this particular thing that I'm believing in will manifest, right? But something came up. So initially my storyteller in my mind was like, this is the end. You were believing in something, you were believing in a possibility, but look, see, something just came up. But I thought to myself, you know what? I'm not going to count myself out this time, because I'm pretty certain that what I'm believing in, I'm supposed to be believing in. So I'm going to go back to that. And why I can say that is because, I know sometimes people say, well, when things come up, it could be like externally. When things come up, it could be coming up as like a blocker, like a warning, like, no, don't go there. Stop. Now, here's what I'm going to say. I think that more often than not, things will come up to prevent you, more so mentally, so more so internally than externally. So I'm going to try to say this like I see it, right? Okay, so let me try to explain this, and then I'm going to get back to what came up for me. So if I'm moving in alignment, right? If I'm moving in my purpose, more often, things externally are going to start to show up in my life to support me while I'm on the journey. Now, what I need to focus on is what's going on the inside. What is the storyteller telling me? Because I believe that usually we are the reasons why we don't have the experiences that we are actually looking to manifest in our lives, because we stop ourselves mentally before we can move to the next level, because things may come up, but it could be coming up as a test to see, how are you going to see things? What are you going to continue to believe in? Are you going to say, oh no, I'm going to continue to believe that it's coming up for my greater good? It's coming up to show me that I am meant to have this. It's working for my benefit? Or are you going to say, oh, something came up and I'm going to go run, I'm going to go hide, I'm going to go put my head underneath the cover, and I'm going to forget about my beliefs altogether. I'm going to forget about all the things that I was working for, that I was working to have, right? So when it came up, this particular part of the process that I'm going through came up. Initially, the storyteller within me was like, all right, it's coming up and something bad is gonna happen. But I decided to say, I'm like, no, because I believe that I'm moving in alignment. I don't believe that I'm forcing things. I believe that I'm letting life truly play out for me. Like, I know what I want to experience, but I'm not heavily invested in how it happens. I'm going to leave the how up to God, and I'm just going to trust God to work the how out for me, but I'm going to put in the work to obtain what it is that I'm looking to have in the end. And the how, I'm going to just let it show up how it's supposed to show up. I'm not going to stop it, right? So that's why when it came up, I just said to myself, like, okay, I'm trusting in this. So I'm going to choose to not believe that it's coming up as a negative. Because the moment that we believe that things come up as a negative, what happens is mentally, we slowly start to shut down. We slowly stop believing in the very things that we are looking to have, because we're seeing things come up and we're viewing it as a blocker, a barrier, something that we can't overcome. But I decided to look at this as my friend, a golden link to my good. So it came up, and I'm like, you know what? What are you doing for me, God? Why is this coming up? You know what? I don't know why it's coming up. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I'm going to trust and believe it's coming up at this time because it needed to come up at this time. This was the perfect time for it to come up, because when it comes up in this very moment, you've already lined up events to follow that is going to all work for my good. It's going to work for my benefit. It needed to come up now and not down the line, because if it comes up down the line, then it may be too late. So you're bringing it to the forefront now. And so, but even though I told myself this, the whole day while I was waiting for this phone call, I waited like over 24 hours for a phone call to help to play out, right, on how it was going to all unfold. But also what I noticed is, even though I was still believing in it, and I was telling the storyteller, no, you're not gonna tell me a different story. I'm not taking any additional thoughts. I'm gonna have the thought that this is all working for my greater good. What I realized is I still had to place a lot of energy into what I was feeding my ears, because that's what's gonna seep into my mind, my thoughts. So I literally, had to listen to positive podcasts, just anything that was going to make me feel good, that was going to feed me good energy. And I say this to you, and I bring this up because I want you to know that even when we're believing in all that we're believing in, and we're encouraging ourselves, these are all great things to do while on your journey. But we also should be very careful, depending on what we're going through in life, what we entertain. Because whether we're aware of it or not, if we entertain certain things in moments where we need to be uplifted, it can bring our energy levels down, or have us thinking thoughts that we don't want to think, that's not supporting us on our journey, that's not supporting us to continue believing in what it is that we are believing in and we're hoping for, okay? So the whole day, I literally had to listen to positive podcasts, positive music, whatever I could that was gonna support and continue to encourage me to not give in at the moment of an apparent obstacle, to see the obstacle as my friend, not my enemy, but my friend that was placed in my life to help me in this very moment. So as I waited and waited and waited, I was getting nervous. But then I said, you know what? It's taken so long for me to get a call back, because they're working so hard for me. They're working so hard to call me back with news that's going to support my belief that everything is truly working for my greater good. So eventually I got a phone call, and the gentleman goes, "Hey, I am so sorry that I took so long to call you back, but we were working so hard. working so hard to work this out for you, and we got it all figured out. So I say all this to say, don't count yourself out. Don't count your beliefs out. Don't count your dreams out when things come up. Don't take additional thoughts to think that because something comes up that it means that it's working against you. Let's train our minds to believe that when things come up, it could actually be coming up working for our good. Even though we don't see how it can be working for our good, we don't always have to see everything. We just need to have the faith and the belief, and believe that everything that we're doing, the work that we're putting in, the work that we're putting in to align in our purpose, to align in what it is that we are supposed to be doing in life, that we are supported. Universally, we are supported. Through God, we are supported. So, I thank you so much for tuning in to another week of Soulful Sundays with Madge. I hope that you got something from this week's episode and the power of belief. I want you to just keep believing in whatever dreams that you may have forgot about because you thought that something was standing in your way. Go back, find that dream. Keep believing. Don't ever stop believing in yourself. So I thank you so much. And until next week, stay blessed. Bye.